I don't think you can minimize, how quickly he's come in, endeared himself to his teammates, gotten familiar with some of the vernacular and the verbiage, and then you're going out and playing NFL caliber football games. And so want to be able to finish out on a high note, but he's done a great job. And if this hasn't elevated people's opinions and thoughts of him, then I'm not sure, what he could have done to change whatever the perception is. I just know I think very highly of him, and I've loved working with him.
Yeah, no, he's played really good. And you know what? The thing that I like about him, he's been accurate. Remember when he came out of college, we thought it would be accurate. Then he went to Cleveland with a good O-line, and we're like, his accuracy plummeted. And then he went to Carolina, it was worse. And we're like, it's into his head. He's back up. He's complete. He's getting all the layups right. So he's at 67%. When I watched every one of the games he's played, much more comfortable. Credit to McVay. This is not a great O-line and not a great receiving core. So let's not make this out to be, this is not nearly as talented as the Cleveland team or the Ram team 2 years ago. So Baker, and this is a big deal, he's completing the passes he should be completing. You think that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but a lot of these guys in this league don't. And so they're dialing up completions. He's hitting them and the ability to go over the top. I think he got himself a bridge quarterback job. I still think he stays in L.A. I think he'd be the best. I think he's in a short list of the best backup in the league. And with Stafford's age and kind of weird, he's got several little injuries. I said this morning to the team. If you look at the schedule and Stafford, let's say the bye comes in week 11 for the Rams next year, and you can go to Stafford and say, hey, we're at home week 10, take 2 weeks off. We're going to take you down the stretch, and Baker steps in. Like, Baker's a very highly competent backup or a highly competent bridge. Would you go to the Texans, or would you be the Rams' backup? I think I'd back up.
I'd probably stay in L.A.
So would I.
So just to clarify something. So Baker's not throwing to Cooper Kupp, right? Allen Robinson, I think he's been out. The numbers are not as great as they sound. So against the Raiders, when they had the great comeback at SoFi, he was under 200 yards for the game until the final drive.
Well, he had 4 hours to learn the offense.
That's correct. Fair enough.
3. Backups on the O-line.
Yes. So he's not in a great scenario. I'm with you, though. I think he gets a chance probably as the backup. I do believe he beats Seattle this weekend, and the Seahawks say, come on down.
So you like the Rams, too?
I do like the Rams.
I like the Rams.
The problem is, I think we're on the same side in a lot of games this week. That is a little dangerous, no?
Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I went 1 for 3.
What about, didn't you have the crystal ball? What was it, Magic 8 Ball telling you exactly what's going to happen? Birthday weekend, you got to fire.
I just think Baker has, I think, all things considered, been a B-plus, very impressive quarterback. Once you give him
McVay.
He
had more talent in Carolina the first 4 weeks of the season.
No question.
Than he has right now.
No question. Absolutely no question.
He had McCaffrey and DJ Moore.
Well, the gap between McVay and Matt Rule. Nothing against Matt Rule. But
nothing against Matt Rule. He leaves and they nearly make the playoffs.
I know.
With their Sam Darnold. Come on.
J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Tampa Bay. Colin, this offense has been a disaster this season under Byron Leftwich. Last week against Carolina, only the second time this year they topped 30 points. But hey, Byron Leftwich, there's been way too much criticism of the team's performance.
I think it's been moments where we haven't really been that bad. I think you guys over-exaggerate because we look different. The numbers say we're not that far off. We're awful on third down and red zone. It's disappointing, those two things, for us as a team with who we have. But when you really listen to people talk about us, that's emotions talking. That's not really people that's watching us get better every week. For some reason, everybody want to throw dirt on the Bucs, but we're not ready for people to throw dirt on us.
Well, I think they actually play well when they speed it up. That's when it's really strange. You'll watch them, and they're clunky, and then they go into their 2-minute drill, and they're effective.
Unfortunately, Byron Leftwich is just lying to us, or he's being willfully ignorant. They are awful this year. Their numbers have fallen off a cliff. You are correct. Their 2-minute offense looks great. when they run it the final 5 minutes of the game. But, Colin, look at these numbers. They're falling off a cliff. We can't just blame this on some offensive linemen being out of the mix. Byron Leftwich's play calling leaves a ton to be desired. I think they run more on first down than like 90% of teams.
Well, and the other thing, when you show the graphic you did, sorry to the radio audience, but the one graphic that jumps out is their big play offense. Now, you saw it with Mike Evans, but last year they had 115 big plays. This year, 75. So, do the math, 40 fewer big plays, that's like 35%. So to me, that's what I've noticed is the first couple years, they were a big play offense. AB, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin over the top.
Gronk missing also a big factor.
So they're they just, last week Mike Evans having the 3 big bombs was so unique. They just he disappeared for a month.
Next up, Jared Goff and the Lions. Big game Sunday night in Green Bay against the Packers. They still might have a chance to get to the playoffs with a win. They're going to need help from Baker Mayfield and the Rams, actually, Goff's whole team. Depending on the Seahawks result, obviously, Goff very, very excited for the primetime opportunity.
It's really big, and I think we're excited for it. I think it's something we've earned, and we're playing for a playoff spot and been through a lot this year, and we're ready for a game that'll be fun in front of everybody. There's going to be a lot more questions, a lot more coverage. We're going to be sitting in the hotel all day, waiting for that Sunday night game. That's the difference. I think once you get out there to game day, it's really the same, and you have to treat it the same. And sure, late in the game, in the fourth quarter, there's going to be pressure, but that's the same way in every other game. In the fourth quarter, there's no more pressure because of the week it is. I think every game is truly the same, and you got to treat it that way.
I don't know what the weather is.
I just looked it up.
What is it?
As Goff was speaking. So a high of 31, but that's during the day with the sun out. They're playing at night in Lambeau. So only about 22, 23 degrees.
And what's the wind?
No wind.
Okay, that's good. What about the flurries or anything?
No precipitation at all. So it'll be clear, but just cold as you know what.
Okay.
And Jared Goff historically has been terrible in cold weather. He's got the small hands. It's a problem.
Oh, good Lord.
Just the facts, buddy. Just the facts. Come on.
Hand size.
All right, finally. Your buddy, Baker Mayfield. By the way, is he celebrating your birthday with you tonight, Baker?
It'd be nice if Baker did give me a shout-out. It would be nice. He didn't, but that's okay.
Okay, all right. Well, he's had a resurgence with the Rams. Played kind of well these last 4 games. And McVay, his coach, thinks Baker's performance has raised his stock heading into the offseason.
It's been huge. He's left a huge impression, and I think all of his teammates would echo that same sentiment. And so